Hey everyone, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just doing this video. It is kind of an autobiographical expression. I don't know if you call this a journal or whatever, I don't know. It's just like, oh my God, I have my journal, my diary. I don't know. I don't fucking know what it is, but I don't care. I'm just gonna say what I feel like saying. So I've just been thinking about this lately, and I think in regards to personal relationships, I just think about this a lot, and I will admit to this because this is kind of something that has come into my mind a lot. I think a lot of times growing up, I just didn't understand people when, as far as relationships go, because I guess it was indoctrinated somehow, and I don't know who indoctrinated me with this, but that at least when I was growing up, I was way more conservative as far as relationships, and way more like get married and that's it kind of person, almost an evangelical in a way, like kind of opinion. And I think that's kind of screwed me up over time. And there's still this weird gnawing sense of drama and melodrama and melancholy that happens to me about breakups and with regards to losing someone. And it's like I always blame myself that I couldn't make it work and couldn't get it to be right, and couldn't go back and correct it. Of course, like with Neville Goddard, maybe I can, the revision technique or whatever. I'm gonna try to do that, but I've been talking about that for a while, but I've done one thing that was back in the day when I was a kid, like gone back and only for one event so far in a real lucid way, but I'll be doing more. I keep procrastinating that, of course. So anyways, this video is kind of about like just kind of how I've had these feelings all this time, and I just don't know what to do with them sometimes. I never got the concept of growing up about people, even casual sex. I used to be like, that's kind of fucked up, And it's not like I thought people would get married, to the first person they slept with or something, but it's just like, I didn't understand that as a kid. I was just like, I had this older brother though, who did kind of, kind of project an alluring vision of being, successful with women in that way, where there's abundance and, of action and stuff like that. But I still had that weird desire or weird fear of abandonment or loneliness or whatever. And it kind of hasn't really gone away. And it's made me more susceptible to not doing as well with relationships, because it's made me kind of in this weird like static position in regards to a lot of things that happen. So it's kind of a problem that I'm facing. I'm trying to face a lot of different things right now in life, and that's one of the things. And it's always, and it's like every time I get into a serious relationship, if they leave me, I'm done. I'm devastated. I'm destroyed. And it's like my ego is destroyed. So, you get into the relationship, you're all excited, your ego is up in the air, you're so happy, you almost get kicked out of a movie theater or whatever, or make out in the park or whatever. And, anyways, that's happened to me twice, actually, almost getting kicked out of a movie theater, but for certain things. But once when I was a teenager, of all things, kind of a weird anniversary to have with someone. I think almost to the month. Anyways, enough about that. But, it's like you have this intimate relationship and then it's destroyed. And to me, it's like I want to harden up, and I want to be, I don't want to be the sensitive little boy that's fucking crushed every time, whatever the woman that leaves, and that's why I've got onto all that pickup artist, all that stuff, and because it was this defense against that person. Like, I want to squash that little wuss kid that's crying in the corner, you know, for his mommy or whatever. I'm, you know, this is just how I feel. And I guess maybe one part of life is trying to reconcile that kid with the other guy, the dangerous bad boy, doesn't do any drugs, unless you count caffeine. It doesn't, you know, reconcile those two sides, you know, these two people that I am, and it's hard to do, you know. So I still think about exes and stuff all the time. You know, too much, honestly. It still happens, you know. I still, especially this last year where shit really hit the fan in life, and you know, it's like you want to go back to those happier times that you had with these people. And it's really a bummer, you know, because you know that it's just the finality of the whole thing just makes me sad, you know. There was an ex-girlfriend that I actually contacted after one of my last breakups, and it was weird because I always thought like maybe I ignored her willingness to reconcile back in the day, and I might have, I don't know, but it was just really difficult to deal with. I just, you know, I reached out. It was kind of weird because I was just like so devastated, so crushed. But I really want to get to the core of this, like, why do I get so messed up? And I put on this front like, oh my god, you know, I'm like a, you know, whatever, like edgelord, bad boy, contrarian, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But really, you know, it's that little boy that's really scared in the corner a lot of the time, unfortunately, you know. But I don't get it. I still don't get why people do that, you know, why people just go through these things, and you're at one point you're the most important person in the world to them, and then you're just a piece of shit. And I still don't get it, even though I do it myself, you know, like if I break up with someone, I just don't understand why. I don't understand, like, it's like one of those things, like, you know, you want the meaning of life, and, you know, like, there's no meaning of life, but you're, like, compounded by it, and or not compounded by it, but, like, mystified by it. It's one of those things I'm just mystified by. Why do these things happen? It saddens me, though, because there's people I wish I would have reconciled in some way with, you know, but I guess got to move on and go forward, you know, in the better pastures. But hopefully the pastures will be better. I don't know. And, you know, without denigrating anybody, just for me personally, better. But that's about all.